I found out my wife was sleeping with someone at her tennis club on a Thursday afternoon, not because I caught them together, not because someone told me, but because I saw the way she looked at her phone when his name appeared on the screen, like it was oxygen and she'd been drowning for years. That look told me everything I needed to know about our marriage, everything I'd been too comfortable to see. Rebecca and I had been married for 6 years, together for 9. We met at a friend's wedding, one of those perfectly choreographed moments where she caught the bouquet and I caught her eye. We built what I thought was a solid life. A house in a good neighborhood. 2 cars, no kids yet, but we'd been talking about it. Well, I'd been talking about it. She'd always been athletic. That's what attracted me initially, her energy, her discipline. She ran marathons, did yoga, kept herself in incredible shape. When she mentioned wanting to take up tennis 2 years ago, I encouraged it. Hell, I even paid for the country club membership. It wasn't cheap, $1,500 a month, but I made good money in commercial real estate, and I wanted her to be happy. She started taking lessons twice a week, then 3 times. Then she joined a women's league that played on weekends. I didn't mind. I traveled for work anyway, sometimes gone 3 or 4 days at a stretch. It seemed healthy that she had her own thing. I remember her talking about her coach early on, Marcus. She'd mentioned technique adjustments, serve improvements, footwork drills, normal stuff. I'd nod along while checking emails, only half listening if I'm being honest. When you trust someone completely, you don't catalog details. You don't look for patterns. That was my first mistake. Looking back now, I can pinpoint the exact moment things changed. It was about 8 months ago, after one of her Saturday matches. She came home that day glowing. Not sweaty and tired like usual, glowing. Her skin flushed, eyes bright, moving through our house like she was floating. She kissed my cheek absently and went straight to shower. For an hour. When I asked how the match went, she said, "Great, Marcus gave me some new pointers that really clicked today." Marcus. His name started appearing more frequently. Marcus thinks I should switch to a one-handed backhand. Marcus says I have natural court awareness. Marcus recommended this new racket. The pro shop visits increased. Suddenly, she needed new tennis shoes every month. Specific brands, Marcus suggested. Tennis skirts that seemed shorter than necessary. Sports bras that cost more than my dress shirts. When I raised an eyebrow at the credit card statement, she got defensive. "I'm not allowed to invest in myself," she snapped. "You spend money on your golf clubs." She wasn't wrong. So I let it go. Her phone habits changed. She'd always been casual about it, leaving it on the counter, never hiding the screen. But gradually, it became an extension of her hand. Face down on tables, taken to the bathroom, sleeping next to her on the nightstand instead of charging in the kitchen like before. The sex changed too. We went from twice a week to once, then twice a month. Then, "I'm too tired," became her default response. Except she wasn't tired. I'd see her energy around the house, just not directed at me. She'd stay up late scrolling on her phone, smiling at something I wasn't part of. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I'd watched too many crime documentaries. But paranoia has a way of sharpening your senses, making you notice things you'd normally miss. 3 months ago, I suggested we take a vacation. Just the 2 of us. Maybe Hawaii or Mexico, somewhere we could reconnect. She hesitated. "The tournament season is just starting," she said. "I can't miss practices right now. Marcus has me on a specific training schedule." Marcus. Again. "Can't you take 1 week off?" I pressed. "You don't understand. I'm finally getting good at this. I don't want to lose momentum. So, I let it go. Because that's what you do when you love someone, right? You support their passions, even when they exclude you. I started working later hours, partly to distract myself, partly because if she wasn't making time for me, why should I rush home? We became roommates who occasionally ate dinner together. Polite strangers sharing a mortgage. She never asked about my day anymore. Never inquired about the Henderson deal that had been consuming my life for 6 months. When I tried to tell her about it, her eyes would drift to her phone. "Sorry, babe," she'd say. "Just checking the league schedule." I convinced myself this was normal, that all marriages go through phases, that her obsession with tennis would eventually plateau and we'd find our way back to each other. But then came the Tuesday. I left work early with food poisoning. I wasn't spying. I was legitimately sick, something I ate at lunch turning my stomach inside out. I called Rebecca to tell her I was coming home early, but she didn't answer. Probably on the court, I thought. I made it home around 2:30, went straight to bed, and slept for 3 hours. When I woke up around 5:30, Rebecca was in the kitchen making dinner like nothing unusual had happened. "Hey," she said brightly. "Feeling better?" "A little." "Where were you this afternoon?" I called. "Oh, just at the club. Extra practice with Marcus. He's getting me ready for the regional qualifiers next month." I nodded, took some crackers, went back to rest. But something nagged at me. The regional qualifiers she mentioned, I'd seen the flyer on our fridge. They weren't for another 3 months, not next month. That night, while she was in the shower, I did something I never thought I'd do. I checked our cell phone account online. Call logs, text message timestamps. The afternoon I'd come home sick, she'd been texting someone for 2 hours straight. Between 1 and 3 p.m. Dozens of messages, but not during her usual lesson time, which was mornings. I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to her, listening to her breathe, and felt the shape of my life dissolving in the darkness. The next Saturday, I told Rebecca I had a last-minute work thing. Instead, I drove to the country club and parked in the back lot where I could see the tennis courts. I watched her lesson with Marcus. From a distance, he looked professional enough. Tall, athletic, demonstrating serves and volleys. But I stayed there, hidden behind tinted windows, watching for 2 hours. When the lesson ended, they didn't part ways. They stood close, talking for 20 minutes. His hand touched her shoulder, then her waist. She laughed at something, tilting her head back in a way she used to laugh with me. Then he kissed her. Quick, casual, like they'd done it 1,000 times. And she kissed him back. They walked toward the parking lot together, and that's when I really saw him clearly. Marcus wasn't some middle-aged tennis pro. He was young. Early 20s, maybe 23 at most. Probably one of those college athletes who turned teaching into income between tournaments. He had that cocky, easy confidence of someone who'd never been seriously hurt by life yet. My wife, 34 years old, was sleeping with a kid barely out of college. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part came 3 days later when I finally confronted her. I didn't yell, didn't throw things. I just asked her directly over breakfast, "How long have you been sleeping with Marcus?" She went pale, set down her coffee. And for a moment, I thought she might deny it. But she didn't. 4 months, she said quietly. 4 months. A third of a year. While I'd been working to pay for her club membership, her lessons, her new tennis wardrobe. While I'd been sleeping beside her every night, completely oblivious. He's 22, Rebecca. Age doesn't matter when you connect with someone. That sentence, delivered so earnestly, almost made me laugh. Connect. Like she'd found a soulmate in some kid who probably couldn't even rent a car without extra insurance fees. "Does he know you're married?" She hesitated. "Yes." "And he doesn't care?" "He thinks we're separated, that you and I are basically done." "We're not separated. We live together, sleep in the same bed." "We haven't really been together for a long time," she said, and there was something in her voice, not quite defensive, more like she'd already rationalized this entire situation to herself. "You're always working. We never talk. Marcus makes me feel alive again." Marcus. This kid who probably still had a roommate and ate ramen for dinner. This was who made her feel alive. I asked the question I wasn't sure I wanted answered. "Do you love him?" She didn't answer right away. That silence told me everything. "I don't know," she finally said. "Maybe. It's different with him." I sat there looking at this woman I'd built a life with, and I didn't recognize her. Or maybe I'd never really known her at all. Here's what I learned from this whole disaster. First, comfort kills passion, but passion isn't worth destroying someone's life over. Rebecca got bored. I got complacent. But instead of communicating like adults, she found excitement in secrecy and betrayal. The thrill wasn't just Marcus. It was the lying itself. Some people are addicted to deception. Second, age gaps in affairs aren't about maturity, they're about power. Marcus was young enough to be impressed by her experience, her resources, her access to an adult world he hadn't fully entered yet. She wasn't looking for an equal. She was looking for someone who'd idolize her. Someone who hadn't seen her without makeup or heard her snore or watched her get food poisoning. Third, and this is the hardest truth, you can't save a marriage when only one person is still in it. That could have fought, could have begged, could have promised to change, to work less, to be more attentive, but she'd already left emotionally. Her body might have been in our house, but her heart had been at that country club for months. The divorce papers arrived 4 weeks later. She wanted half of everything, naturally. I signed them without contesting. My lawyer thought I was insane, said I could drag it out, make her prove adultery, potentially pay less. But I didn't care about the money anymore. I didn't care about being right or winning. I just wanted it over. I heard through a mutual friend that she moved in with Marcus about a month after I moved out. They're apparently very happy. He's teaching her beach volleyball now. She posted pictures on social media, which I don't look at anymore, but people still tell me things I don't ask to know. I think about that Thursday afternoon sometimes. The moment I saw her look at her phone with that expression of desperate longing. How I'd spent 6 years believing I was enough, only to discover I was just comfortable. Just available, just there. I don't hate her. I don't even hate him. I'm too tired for hate. I work now. I travel. I keep myself busy enough not to think about coming home to someone. My house is quiet. My bed is empty. My phone doesn't ring with good morning texts anymore. People ask if I'm dating. I tell them no, not yet. Maybe not ever. How do you trust like that again? How do you give someone the power to dismantle your entire sense of self when they get bored? So I walk through my days. I do my job. I pay my bills. I exist. And sometimes, late at night when I can't sleep, I wonder if this is what the rest of my life looks like. Just a man moving through empty rooms, too broken to build anything new, too stubborn to admit he's not okay. But I never call her. I never reach out. I just vanish into the silence, because what else is there to say?
Alex here. Man. Just when you think you've heard it all, a story like this comes up. There is a lot to unpack here, and I'm really interested to see the debate in the comments on this one. What is your final verdict? Let me know below. And hey, if you've got a story of your own, anonymous submissions are always open at the email in the description. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Stay sharp out there.